Well, you might notice that the angle that I'm using today is a little bit different because I'm trying to do this in the morning before it's less hot. It's already about 90 degrees, and I think it's 9:30 or so in the morning. Uh, but I want to thank you for joining me tonight for Wednesday in Proverbs. As we begin, let me share with you our upcoming plans for Wednesday nights. Jacob shared this information on Sunday morning, but we just want to make sure that the word gets out to everybody. So, beginning on Wednesday, September 2nd, our plan is to return to having a gathering at the building. We're going to rotate what we do each week. And so the first week of that rotation will be September 2nd, our first gathering, where we'll meet together in the auditorium for singing. Now, we will be social distancing, so you will be safe if you come. The next week, September 9th, we'll have classes for all ages. Now, there will be one adult class, which will meet in a place that's yet to be determined. It's going to depend upon how many people actually come. Probably be in the family room, if not in the auditorium. On September 16th, we will have everyone together in the Yak, and we'll have tables set up. Families will be able to sit together. Those who are single will have provisions there for you as well. And we're going to have a devotional with a discussion around those tables. On September 23rd, we will then return to classes for all ages. And this will be the rotation that we will repeat as long as this weird time we're living in continues. So please make plans to join us on September the 2nd. Now, tonight, I want to take you to Proverbs chapter 3. You know, we have so many reasons to be afraid today. I don't mean by that it's worse than it's ever been, because I can think of lots of other times in history where people had more reasons to be afraid than we do. But my guess is that people have always had reasons to be afraid. And many of them are fear of things that never actually materialize. I'm reminded of the story of one summer night during a severe thunderstorm. A mother was tucking her young son into bed, and she was about to turn off the light when she heard his trembling voice say, "Mommy, will you sleep with me tonight?" Well, the mother gave him a warm, reassuring hug and said, "I can't, son. I have to sleep in Daddy's room tonight." There was a long silence, and finally the silence was broken by a shaky voice saying, "That big sissy." You know, I can tell you the first prayer I ever learned. And maybe it was your first prayer as well, but even if it wasn't, I bet you could repeat it with me. It went like this: "Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake." What? Really? Someone actually thought that it was a good idea to teach that prayer to their children? I mean, here you are, you have your child settled, tucked into bed, and you're going to leave him or her with that thought? If I should die before I wake, why not just tell them there's monsters under the bed? Well, I'm fortunate that sleeping is not usually a challenge for me. Most nights I fall asleep after reading for a few minutes, and I pretty much sleep through the night. But I have occasional bouts with insomnia, and on those nights, the more I try to sleep, the more my mind begins to race, and in fact, it begins racing so fast it's out of control. Honestly, that counting sheep thing, that doesn't work for me at all. So sometimes I'm able to slow my mind, and I do that through breathing and praying, and sometimes that works. Other times I retrace golf courses that I've played, and that's been helpful too. But overall, I'm just grateful that sleep comes easily for me. And maybe that's partly due to verses like the one that I want us to read together tonight. Proverbs 3, beginning in verse 21, says, "My son, do not let wisdom and understanding out of your sight. Preserve sound judgment and discernment. They will be life for you, an ornament to grace your neck. Then you will go on your way in safety, and your foot will not stumble. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet." Have no fear of sudden disaster or of the ruin that overtakes the wicked, for the Lord will be at your side and will keep your foot from being snared. This passage begins, like so many other proverbs, celebrating wisdom and discernment and encouraging us to pursue them, and when we find them, to hang on to them. But the part that I like most about this section is the benefits that extend to even how we sleep. Those who practice knowing and doing God's will just sleep better, because few things rob us of sleep faster than nagging fears and doubts, and nothing eases our fearful minds more than living in the stream of God. I like the quote from E. Stanley Jones, who once said, "I'm inwardly fashioned for faith, not for fear. Fear is not my native country, faith is. I am so made that worry and anxiety are sand in the machinery of life. Faith is the oil. I live better by faith and confidence than by fear, doubt, and anxiety. In anxiety and worry, my being is grasping for breath. These are not my native air, but in faith and confidence, I breathe freely. These are my native air." Well, David shared similar words to his son Solomon when he wrote in Psalm 4 and verse 8, "In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety." I love this verse because it tells me that amid the chaos and confusion of our world, we can lie down in peace, knowing that we belong to God. So I want you to think about what happens when you lay your head on your pillow at night. Maybe you think back over the day, all that you've done and said and seen. Maybe you think about what's on your plate for tomorrow. But in the middle of all of this, you can lie down and sleep in peace. Why? Well, because you know that you belong to God and that you're resting in His arms. You know, actually, sleep is a pretty humbling thing. John Piper once said, "Sleep is a daily reminder from God that we are not God." Once a day, God sends us to bed like patients with a sickness. The sickness is a chronic tendency to think we're in control and that our work is indispensable. To cure us of this disease, God turns us into helpless sacks of sand once a day. How humiliating to the self-made man or woman that he or she has to give up control and become as limp as a suckling infant every day. What a valuable reminder that when we lie down to go to sleep, we realize that we are not ultimately in control. God is. And this is key to sleeping in peace amidst the chaos of life. Now, I don't pretend to know everything that's going on in your life right now. And I do imagine that each of us have many things that when we lie down, we could worry and we could be anxious about. But I want to encourage you, in peace, you can lie down and sleep, because the God of this universe is holding you in His arms, and He can make you dwell in safety, and your sleep will be sweet. Next Wednesday night, I'll be on vacation, and so we will not have a Wednesday night in Proverbs next week. But I look forward to you joining me again 2 weeks from tonight. But until then, sweet sleep and sweet dreams.